welcome to this special live transmission at PTV World. A short while ago, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif held a telephone conversation with Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and the Qatari Emir has appreciated Pakistan's efforts for the de-escalation of tensions here after India's false flag operation in Pahalgam, and Indian authorities had been blaming Pakistan for its involvement in that particular incident that happened in Pahalgam. A number of efforts on the international level. We have also seen earlier Secretary of State of the United States of America, Marco Rubio, making a phone call to Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, urging both Pakistan and India to exercise restraint and work together for peace and stability in South Asia. We've also seen expression of support on the part of the Chinese, as Chinese ambassador to Pakistan called on Prime Minister today and expressed the common desire of the two countries of achieving peace and stability in the region. Also yesterday we had a very detailed presser by the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Mr. Ishaq Dar, along with the DGISPR, Lieutenant General Ahmad Sharif Chaudhry. Very important statements were made in that particular presser also. DGISPR saying in categorical terms, let me quote, "Our responses in all domains are ready and there would be decisive and assured response," unquote. And he has also said in that press conference that it's the choice of the Indians if they want to resort to military confrontation. Where it goes beyond that later, that would be, of course, decided by us from the Pakistan side. A number of other important revelations made in that particular presser, which we will be taking for discussion in this particular segment of the special live transmission. We are honored to be joined in the studio by Mr. Faisal Raza Khan. He's our very own PTV World's anchor and senior analyst. Mr. Khan, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on this special transmission. Also on Skype at the same time, we are honored to be joined by Mr. Air Commodore Khalid Chisti, senior analyst. Air Commodore Chisti, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on this special live transmission. We really appreciate that. Faisal, if you allow me, let me begin the discussion with Air Commodore. Air Commodore Khalid Chisti, when we talk specifically about the overall preparedness of the Pakistani authorities, Pakistan armed forces, we've seen expression of resolve on the part of all the wings of the armed forces of Pakistan. What's your understanding? Do you think India would resort to any sort of a misadventure, given the fact the last time they tried it with Pakistan, they got a befitting response? We have also seen Pakistan has shot down a couple of quadcopters from the Indian side as well. A number of Indian Army's checkposts along the line of control have also been destroyed in retaliatory action by the Pakistan armed forces.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Jawad, on the program. I'd like to begin with the same thing, that the initiative to start the war most probably could be going through the air, using air, because that is quick, surprise, responsive, and obviously it can be lethal and embarrassing if it's done from the air. As the Indians did this 2019, and obviously that was a misadventure, befittingly, as you said, responded by Pakistan Air Force. Let me tell you, as I've been saying this on your program, in the program, the PTV program earlier also, that I have served in the Air Force for nearly 35 years as a fighter pilot, grown up obviously with these technologies and these machines transforming. The technology today has evolved tremendously as compared to what it was 20 or 30 or 40 years back. The technological advantage any country having obviously can create great effects, no doubt about it. But there is, I always tell people, whosoever asks me, will India take on, India or any country can take on against anybody. The question remains, will the country who is doing the aggression, will it or will she be able to take the counter strike by Pakistan? Because let me show you, because I've served in the Air Force with the present Air Force Chief also, I've known him for the last almost 4 decades. He's a man of great humility, but he is an equally aggressive person by default and by design. The air power, obviously, in the status that we have today is very, very offensive in nature. We'll have to curtail it in case we do not want to respond. And I believe that there's no country, and especially Indians must be very clear about it. They have about 1.4 billion population. Amongst their mind, they've created a hype out of the 900 channels that they're operating, they have created a hype in the minds and the hearts of the people that we're going to do something. We're going to do something. Okay. Any moment they can choose to be aggressive. But if I was a politician or a military commander the other side, I would always ask a question that then what's the culmination? Would they be ready to take a retaliatory strike from Pakistan Air Force? Particularly, I'm saying because if they do react from the air, it is more likely that Pakistan Air Force will react back. And we have all the ladder of escalation plans ready. Because of my close association, I've been making documentaries on my YouTube, Khalid Chisti, for 6 years. And I've been interacting with the Air Force for the last 6 years. Recently, I was at one of the mainstream airbase when I met these pilots who are flying up in the air these times. And let me tell you the capability that they have. Pakistan Air Force would have to go out of the way to curtail the damage, obviously, because it's not a simple quid pro quo. You hit one place and I hit another place. The nation, the people will expect from Pakistan Air Force also to respond back in the way. So what I can say, conclude is that Indians might choose to be aggressive, and it's not, by the way, impossible these days because of the stand of weapons that both sides have. Any country can, while staying well within their own territory, geographical territory, can launch a weapon which can come and hit this side or that side. So if that is done, it has to be responded by Pakistan Air Force. Absolutely, I'm clear about it. And as I was saying, that I have a preview to the knowledge and information that Pakistan Air Force has the strategic targets of all cadres lined up and listed down after well thought of deliberation, which means if you reach here, we will reach here. If you reach here, we will reach there. So that will be very unfortunate. But like I said, almost 1.78 billion population living in this region will become hostage to the crisis, obviously. So to summarize, I would say.
Commodore, this is very important point. Now, I'll come back to you for your understanding regarding as to the kind of response that we gave back in 2019 to Indian aggression. This time around, is it going to be more than that, or on what sort of levels is going to be different? Faisal, when we talk about these diplomatic efforts, when we talk about Pakistani side on the international front, Pakistan has been apprising all the major players, not in the region also, but also globally, about the kind of efforts Pakistan has been putting in, and Pakistan has been behaving very maturely, exercising restraint on all levels, but is determined to thwart and respond in kind any sort of aggression if and when it happens from the Indian side. How are you looking, what's your understanding, how the international efforts have been so far?
Jawad, very clear that Pakistan is a peace-loving nation, Pakistan is a peace-loving country, and always strive hard to have peace and stability in the region because Pakistan is picking up when it comes to its economy and all that. So Pakistan shown a very responsible stance till now, and Pakistan will show that in future as well. But if and in any sort of a condition that India is going to impose any sort of eventuality or adventurism, as Commodore Sahab rightly pointed out, that Pakistan is absolutely ready. There must have to be no doubt on the Indian side that Pakistan will not think but respond. And this is very clear because the tri-services are absolutely ready. I am not saying it 100%, but 1000%. And whatever would be the objectives in any case scenario, our thought process is very clear, very clear-headed. Our military leadership is very clear-headed. Our civilian leadership is very clear-headed. So there is no doubt about that. Now, secondly, when we are talking about the international diplomacy, which is right now on, especially when Pakistan given kind of an information that it was a credible intelligence Pakistan have, that India is going to have some sort of adventurism in future in coming hours or days or so. So soon after that, not only China was already very much concerned about the situation, and China is definitely at the right side of the history. But on the other hand, the international community, particularly the United States, Secretary of State, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio just held a phone call with the Prime Minister and also with the Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar. Now, Prime Minister is very clear that Prime Minister has already said that Pakistan not only condemned that incident, whatever happened in Pahalgam, but also Pakistan is determined that in case of any sort of misadventure by India, Pakistan will not only defend, but Pakistan will go on with the offensive defense. Now, the thing is that US is much interested into having some sort of restraint or de-escalation into the situation, and onus is up to India now. What I just want to refer, and I have already said that Indian Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar, in his telephonic conversation with Marco Rubio, he said that they want that the perpetrators of this attack, the planners and the backers, must have to be taken to task and must have to be brought to justice. Now, thank you very much, Mr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. This is what Pakistan is actually saying. And Pakistan want a probe that must have to be neutral, that must have to be independent. That is loud and clear.
That's a very important
and the
point.
second thing is, who they know, so Mr. Subramaniam Jaishankar know that who is the planner, who is the backer, and who is the perpetrator. Now, who is the planner? It is very loud and clear. Research and analysis being raw, and the National Security Advisor of India, Ajit Doval, is basically the planner. Those people are sitting in Delhi now. And the second thing is, who were the perpetrator of this? Indian security forces. And who were the backer? Mr. Modi and Amit Shah. So search them in Delhi. They are very much there. You have to just investigate things and brought them to justice.
Exactly.
Brought them all to justice. And this is what Pakistan is time and again saying.
Exactly.
Do it.
But where have those attackers gone? Isn't it a very pertinent
You know
question?
that
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you for this particular aspect. That's a very interesting scenario, by the way. In that heavily militarized zone, how could they just escape?
I'll give you whole of the scenario, what actually happened, and
For
Indians
now,
know
we are
that.
honored to be joined by Dr. Maria Sultan, senior analyst. Dr. Maria, thank you very much for being with us on this special live transmission. Well, looking at the kind of evidences that have been shared by DJI SPR in yesterday's presser of India's involvement in cross-border terrorism here in Pakistan, how Indian serving army officers are financing the terrorists to perpetrate these heinous acts here in Pakistan. We've seen India's intelligence agency RAW being involved in assassination on US soil, in assassination attempts on US soil, as well as assassination in Canada. What responsibility happens to be on the shoulders of the major players at this particular point in time to hold India accountable from for that very heinous behavior when it comes to Indian state sponsorship of terrorism?
I think things have changed since 1999, while Kargil happened. The important thing is that since 2001, there is a UN Security Council Resolution 1370, which basically states that if there is any act of terrorism, whether it is carried out by a state actor or non-state actor, the states can be held responsible for it if they have been found in abating terrorism. So in this case, what we're looking at is that not only that India is actively financing terrorism, but they are also, perpetuating regional instability. They are creating a conflict-like situation between India and Pakistan, which can be disastrous given the fact that both countries are nuclear. Number two, they are not understanding the spirit of the countries which have actually been affected by terrorism. This is not a joke. This is not something on which you bring, billions of people's lives at stake. And this is what the Indian state has done. They have initiated a false flag operation. They have lied to the people, to their own people. They've lied to the region. They've lied to the international community. And worst of all, it's not that they've lied in Pahalgam. They have also lied with regards to the fact that they are the ones who are actually promoting terrorism in the region. And if this is the case, then in this case, there is a bigger question mark, which goes back to the Security Council resolutions, which says that if a state is going to be involved in such activities, then according to Chapter 7, they should be held responsible. That means that they could be sanctioned. They should be sanctioned, and an act of war against them would be legitimate, not only by Pakistan, but by other regional actors as well. So this totally changes the entire milieu in which India was trying to project that Pakistan is committing terrorism, because this reverses the roles. Not only it reverses the roles, but there is irrefutable proof which we are presenting. So this means that there is a bigger question mark with regards to what is the global counterterrorism framework, how it's going to operate, and most importantly, is somebody going to hold India responsible for putting the economies of these two countries at risk, for putting the people of these two countries at the risk of a nuclear war, and most importantly, for unleashing, untenable terror on the people of Kashmir, who are under Indian administrative control.
Okay, Dr. Maria, when you talk about these attackers of Pahalgam incident, Pakistan has offered a neutral and transparent probe. Do you think India by any means would agree to any of a transparent or a neutral probe? And do you think there is any sort of a role the major players could play in this particular regard?
I think, unfortunately for India, the discrepancy between the truth and what they wanted the world to believe is too much. So if they agreed to an independent probe, this would just certify the fact that they are actually, they brought an international community, they, put their own economies and everybody at risk, just because for whatever political reasons, whatever religious reasons, whatever religious hatred they wanted to promote inside of India. But they were doing it at the expense of regional security. So I think that is going to be a real question mark on that account. So I don't think so they're going to agree to an impartial inquiry here, because all the facts will lead and indicate their involvement. However, the question mark is not whether they will go for independent inquiry. The real question is how will they de-escalate? Because the fact is that if they escalate, then the cost of war is going to be high for India. One. Number two, it's not going to be restricted to Kashmir. It's going to go where...
Immediate stakes. So what are the immediate stakes if we try to analyze the Indian perspective, the authorities at the hem in India at the moment, what could be the possible objective at this particular point in time?
Well, at this particular point in time, they have to vindicate themselves, because they have lied and they have mobilized. They have partially mobilized. They wanted to tell their people that it is a counterterrorism issue. And obviously, it's not counterterrorism. They are, carrying out a clear act of aggression against Pakistan. And of course, if you try to carry out an active case of aggression against a nuclear state, that state is going to respond back, and Pakistan is responding back. So there is a bigger question mark in India for other people as well who are asking, do you really want to risk a war between Pakistan and India? And you told us it's something about counterterrorism, while in reality there's not enough evidence that it was actually counterterrorism. It was actually, the effect of terrorism which you're trying to replicate. Rather, the people are questioning the method in which the state responded. They're questioning the intelligence gap. They're questioning the method in which information was released. They're questioning how Pakistan was, the opinion is that Pakistan is led to believe that was responsible for this. And most importantly, there is also a bigger discord within Indian armed forces and other people who are saying, what was it actually about? Was it really about India? Was it really about, setting the score? Was it actually about some political mileage on which the Modi government was, trying to have, a swing at Pakistan without realizing that sometimes it is counterproductive and sometimes the states can react really bad. And in this case, India will have to pay a really big price for the misadventure they were trying to plan.
Right to Dr. Maria Sultan, senior analyst. Thank you very much for joining us at this special live transmission. We really appreciate that. Air Commodore Chisti, when we talk about this time, if any misadventure happens, as you were already talking about, how this particular response this time around is going to be different, on what levels by Pakistan?
You see, this is what I was submitting, that having known personally Air Chief, it is against his nature and against the nature of the air power if we wish to curtail the counterattack. If it is done so, we'll have to do it, because there is a difference in fighting the war. I tell my friends that if India is taking on the adventure, they could be doing it because of political reasons, because of some mileage on the international front to create election boards or something like that. But irrespective, because Pakistan has never done this kind of adventure ever, so irrespective of the fact that India does it with what intention, Pakistan is doing it for its sovereignty, one, not for any other purpose, for the self-defense, sovereignty, and above all, as a cause. to defend themselves, ourselves. So it has to be correspondingly punitive from Pakistan side. That's what I'm saying. It is against the nature of the air park, because the kind of aeroplane that we have, J-10C and Block 3 JF-17 we have, legendary F-16 we have, last 43 years, we have seasoned fleet and the seasoned pilots, Mirages that have served for more than 55 years in this Air Force. So we have a potent fleet which has a very great capability to respond back. The only thing I'm saying is that it has to be the warmonger. They have to calculate first. Will their sense prevail then? Obviously, if the sense does not prevail and they take on the adventure, then obviously this misadventure or malified intent would have to be punished correspondingly, so that they do not dare to come back again. You must have seen that on the other side, the western border, one of our western border, there was some violation, and Air Force went on to respond. And that was not to respond to the country. The country is very friendly to us on the western side. The message was that if some initiative is taken against our national sovereignty, we do not see the borders and we do not read the name of the aggressor. We fight back with the intent to send a message that we should not be taken for granted. So I assumed that knowing the air power nature and the capability that we have, and knowing the air chief in person, probably it's going to be massive, because we have the capabilities and we have equally charged fighter pilots that I was mentioning yesterday on your channel, that in 60 years, Air Marshal Noor Khan, I'll repeat at the cost of repetition, I'll say that if somebody missed it, Air Marshal Noor Khan, after the 65 war, some international journalist asked him, who was the commander-in-chief of 65 war, some journalist asked him, did you have any dilemma during the war? He said, yes, I had one dilemma. He said, my dilemma was not how to throw my pilots into the war. My dilemma was how to hold them back from the war. It's the other way around. And let me tell you, in last 60 years, nothing has changed as far as the intent, capability, and resolve is concerned. The only thing what has changed is for the betterment, and that's weapons.
I get your point. Right, Air Commodore, I want your quick view regarding as to how lethal these PL-15 BVRs could be when it comes to Pakistan's capability in responding to Indian misadventure.
I'll try to be very short, but I'll have to relate with the Rafale, which were bought in after 2019 misadventure. Indian Prime Minister said that had we had Rafale, the things would have been different. They bought it worth $9 billion. And when they came in, they had the air-to-air beyond visual range, missile range at 140 to 150 kilometer range. So we would have been outsmarted by that, but big range, we didn't have anything like that. The present air chief, when he took over in 2021, came up with immediate resolution to the problem. And just in his 1 year command, we were managed, Pakistan Air Force was able to manage J-10C aircraft, which can carry PL-15. Now, coming back to the capability, on one hand, when the Rafale can fire up to beyond visual range, a range of about 140 to 150 kilometer, PL-15 that we have can go 200 kilometer plus. And it's not only on J-10C aircraft. Pakistan Air Force has modified Block 3 JF-17 Thunders also to carry the same radar, which is ISA, and carry the same PL-15 on these aeroplanes also. So we have a huge fleet of the aeroplane, which can carry a very deterring a weapon from the air-to-air combat point of view.
Right, Air Commodore, there is a very important aspect that was also mentioned in one of the presses by DGI SPR. The drones were being used to deliver the IEDs. I'll come back to you for your understanding regarding that as well. Faisal, when we talk about yesterday's presser, the sequence we try to analyze post-Pahalgam incident, given the fact that the police station stands 30 minutes away from the site of the incident and the FIR is registered within 10 minutes. What does that basically depict?
This is not the only truth which is there, because there are lots of other points which actually depict that how India is actually involved itself as a state in sponsoring that terrorism happened in Basriyan and Pahalgam. Along with that, the false flag operation with the past scripts they have, because they have repeated they have repeated Pulwama, they have repeated Uri, they have repeated Pathankot, they have repeated Chatti Singhpura and all others, because the same episode happened time and again. Now, what happened there? Because that is the area in Pahalgam. there was no security, there was no police, there was no ambulance there. There was no rescue there, number one. And if there was anything, that was already withdrawn. Just 2-3 days back, there was a internal briefing by Amit Shah, the Home Minister of India, to the opposition. Opposition raised a question that why Baswian was opened, because generally it opened in June alongside with the Amarnath Yatra. But that was opened 2 months before in April. So that was a big question, why it was before 2 months. Now, 5.3 kilometers away, that is the police station of Pahalgam. So there was no police there. And then soon after 10 minutes of the incident, that FIR, who done that FIR, where the FIR, how that was registered. Then at 7 kilometers from that incident site, there is Central Police Reserve Force camp. At 5 kilometers, Rashtriya Rifles is there. And there was then National Intelligence Agency of India, then Intelligence Bureau of India, then the RAW is, all of them were there. At least 1 million of the security forces, those are stationed there, occupation forces in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. What they were doing over there, for what they were there. So it was a huge, it's not a security lab, it was a staged security drama, a false flag operation, which was already designed a couple of months back. And there were also that in that raw leaked document, it was loud and clear written that if that some sort of that whole drama would get flopped, then there is another drama which was already ready, that was in Ganderbal and in Shopian as well. Might be there would be some sort of attack on the security forces. Then they have to, there were the clear instructions to the security forces to cross line of control and the ceasefire, attack inside and divert the attention from that failed drama.
With that, we come to the end of this segment of this particular special live transmission, after which you will be able to watch the headlines of the hour. For that, stay tuned.